Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it's time for us to catch up with Trudi Cook, the 300 gamer and the juniors director at the Southern Mallee Giants Netball Club. Trudi, a week off. Everyone's hopefully feeling nice and rested and rejuvenated. I doubt you're going to disagree with that.
No, definitely not. Everyone had a thoroughly good time on the weekend to have a bit of a rest and ready to go again this week. It's been quite cold here, so it's probably been a bit of a wet, cold week, but there were still people out there last night at training, so it was good to see.
Is there much value in having the sort of mid-season break? I know, often there's bye rounds and all that kind of stuff, but just to have that week off, is it considered quite a high-value thing in the middle of the season?
Look, I think ideally sports-wise, you're probably better off running with the momentum and keep going. But I think mentally wise and realistic for how busy people's lives are these days, it's always nice to have the week off just to catch up on whether it's family time or house jobs, whatever it might be. I think people enjoy the week off, but looking from a professional sport point of view, they're probably better off staying with the momentum of things.
So just, knowing a lot of the girls in the team quite intimately, do you feel as though a lot of them would have been quite disciplined over the weekend, or did we have a few cheeky ones hitting the box of favourites on Saturday night?
Oh, look, no doubt the box of favourites definitely would have been hit, and probably a beverage or two, I'd say, thrown around. But look, we're realistic and we're amateur sports people, I suppose. So the majority of the reason we play it's for enjoyment. So I think it's more than okay to have the box of favourites or a drink or two.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the fixtures coming up this weekend. And for the Southern Mallee Giants, it's a road trip against the Horsham Demons. So what's the scouting report from the opposition point of view? How do we feel coming up into this contest, and what's everyone got to do to make sure they play to their role and ensure that the Giants get up again? Because, of course, like you mentioned, they're wanting to continue this little momentum break that the Giants girls have after that win 2 weeks ago now against Warwick Eagles. So important to get up in this one as well, obviously, Trudi.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, all 5 grades are going to have their work cut out for them. Horsham Demons are on top of the ladder in B grade, C grade, and under 15s. I think they're second in A grade and under 13. So, look, and Giants in the top 4. So they're definitely going to have their work cut out for them. I think they'll set goals. Each team will set a goal as to what they can try and keep Demons to. So that way, if they do walk off with a loss, they still feel that sense of achievement. They'll set their goal for them to achieve as to how they can shut part of Demons' game down. Unfortunately for the A grade, we've got Cody Robbins, who's been in the best every week. She's away for a few weeks, so we're down her. Steph Riggle hurt her ankle quite severely a couple of weeks ago, so she's out of the team also, but they've been able to welcome back Phoebe Ubergang and Mackenzie Ballinger into the team, so that should add some experience, I suppose, to the team. They're familiar with Horsham Demons and how tough the games can be. So hopefully those girls can slot in quite nicely.
I want to get your thoughts on this, Trudi, because I feel as though it's become more and more of an issue in the past decade or so as opposed to previous years. But this whole thing of players going overseas, particularly into Europe, around this time, it doesn't just affect amateur sport, it affects semi-professional sport as well, more than you know. So the likes of your Greeces and your Italys and your Portugals, we could do without them sometimes, Trudi, as far as regional sport's concerned and community sport for that matter.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it is the most common time for people to travel, especially with our cold winters, and they see the sun shining over there. So it definitely has a snowball effect on. But look, I think you're mad if you don't take the opportunities when you get them to go travel. Sport will always be there for us, and our club will always be there. So some of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities to travel you just got to take them and roll with it. So completely understand when people disappear, but yes, it definitely has a snowball effect throughout the club.
And this is really the year, isn't it, Trudi? Because last year you had all those COVID concerns, hard to get flights, etc. Now the world's just opened back up to us, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And I think we've got several club members, not just Cody, but several club members that are taking that opportunity. And you just can't, say no to it. You can see where they're coming from because, as you said, we've all been shut up for a while now. So for the world to open back up again, it's making people really appreciate that freedom.
All right, before we take a look ahead at the other A-grade fixtures this weekend, just bring our listeners up to speed on the other grades and how they're faring and how they're looking going into their games this weekend, Trudi.
Yeah, look, as I said, like with a couple out of A grade, sometimes that can snowball down through the B and C. We're a bit fortunate to pick up some players that haven't been playing with us regularly in the A grade. So B grade and C grade have quite settled their teams now, but they are taking on at the top of the ladder in both grades. So the pressure will be on them, but no doubt they'll set a goal as a team as to what they can do, I suppose, to work towards keeping Demons to a minimum score. Same with the juniors. Look, their 15s Demons are on top of the ladder, and in 13s they're second. So the girls are going to have a really tough, confronting game. Horsham Demons have always been very strong competitors. And often have played together with each other for a while. So a lot of our younger girls find it quite confronting. But Jane will lead them and set them goals to make sure that they know that they're still succeeding. We do have slightly adjusted times on Saturday. Unfortunately, one of Horsham Demons' past players was fatal accident in the Hunter Valley bus incident. So there will be a minute silence between the reserves and senior game to pay our respects for him and his family. So slightly earlier times, but hopefully that doesn't affect how we play.
Yeah, absolutely tragic to hear that. Well, we'll move on and send our condolences to that family. But we'll move along and talk about some of the other fixtures this weekend. Ararat at home to Dimboola, a game I'm sure all other teams looking forward to seeing as to how this one's going to pan out. It'll have some ramifications on that table, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Look, this is probably match of the round without hesitation. Dimboola sit 4 points clear of Ararat on the ladder. And when I did my research, I thought it'd be a very tough game and was leaning towards Ararat. But I did a bit of research on this and I thought nil was a good gauge to see how they both played against nil. And Dimboola were able to beat nil by about 3 goals, where Ararat lost substantially to nil. So my money's with Dimboola, even though it's a away game for them. I reckon they'll play the more consistent game for 4 quarters.
Moving along and talking about Neil up against Horsham Saints. Do the newbies get up here, Trudi?
No, look, Neil are definitely playing a nice brand of footy, but netball, I should say, sorry. But I don't think they'll be able to get up on top of the Saints. Saints are being very convincing at the moment, so they'll be a hard one to beat.
Yeah, if they were playing good footy, there'd be no end to their surprises this season, Trudi. The Warwick Eagles, they've got no hope up against Minyat Matoa, I gather.
No, look, Minyat Matoa have only had the one win, which was against us, and Warwick are sitting on no win. So, look, it still will be an okay game, but Minyat Matoa are definitely more competitive out in the court than Warwick Nabil.
Stall with the bye. Let's just take a look at some other club matters before we let you go, Trudi. The goods and services auction, it's coming up in July. Just bring our listeners up to speed on what this is all about.
Yeah, so the committee members are at the moment chasing up all the items from sponsors and different members that donate. And then we put it all onto, or most of the items, onto an online platform. And the auction goes for a week leading up to the actual auction night. And yeah, you can register and you get on and bid for a range of items, range of ages. So being a farming community, there's always something for work-wise, but then there's things for families, trips away. And yeah, everyone donates something, and then come the night they finish the auction, they usually withhold about 20 items from online and auction them off that night. And a huge fundraiser to the club and definitely worthy of doing. So yeah, hopefully that platform gets up and going shortly and we can raise some money for the club.
There we have it, Trudi Cook, the 300 gamer and the junior director of the Southern Mallee Giants. Do a fantastic job, Trudi, as you always do. So well done to you, and we'll speak to you next week. Good luck over the weekend. Thanks so much.
Good on you, Alice. Thank you.